Sit your butt outside.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim live in Green Bay. Got it looking nice and festive over there. And we got Jacob up in Wisconsin as well. So, gents, how we doing this evening?
Good. Beautiful day. Packers play ball this weekend. What else could you want, right?
Absolutely, man. Jacob.
I had a great day other than the fact I had to watch that unbelievably bad highlight of what the new up-and-coming Australian Office is going to be. Not sure if you guys saw that masterpiece. Makes me want to throw up my mouth a little bit.
I've heard people talking about it. But
it's
2 thumbs down.
It is so bad, dude. It's so bad. Anyways,
that's good to know. All right.
If Tim used to run the streets of Milwaukee, we ain't putting enough respect on his name. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Talk about
Streets were a little different when I used to run them. A little different now, but the Ticket King for sure. Downtown Milwaukee, you can't beat it, and of course, like a half a block from Lambeau Field, up here in Green Bay. So make sure you check them out.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you, Tim's got that street cred. And I got that holler cred is what we called it back home. Right? So a little bit different. It's funny to see how everybody comes from different backgrounds. So you got Emilio coming in from New York, upstate New York, right? Tim from Milwaukee. Jacob is from a little bit everywhere, right? Where he just keeps getting kicked out of places, I feel like. And he just
That's pretty much it.
So there you go.
Wait, you were born in Appleton, right, Jacob?
Yeah, I was born in Appleton and then moved to Hudson and then
the one and only Willem Dafoe as well.
Yes, thank you. That's a fun fact that a lot of people don't know about. Thank you, Tim.
2 famous people from Appleton, Jacob the Beard and Willem Dafoe. There you go.
Heard it from a fan right here.
All right. So we're off to a roaring start. Let's get the Jordan Love talk out of the way real quick. You guys know we talked extensively last night about Jordan Love's Respect Oranges. Salsa from New York?
Is that an old peso commercial? Is that what I remember?
New York City. We need that drop. We got to get that drop now.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so we're already off the rails. We're
sorry.
3 minutes and 19 seconds into the show already sucks. It's not a good sign. It's going to be a long night.
Oh, wow.
So we opened up yesterday, and we talked for darn near the whole first hour about Jordan Love. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? You know, the big thing is, if you see any setbacks this week, I think that's pretty much an indicator. There's no chance he's going to play as long as he continues to practice and they ramp it up a bit. Anytime you hear that he took team drills, that's when things are really serious. I don't think LaFleur is going to allow that information out of the building, to be honest with you. I think they're going to keep that close to the vest. You guys know the big joke yesterday, and it's making national rounds now. LaFleur saying limited 18 times, right, and pissing people off, which I personally love. Well, today we were back at it again. Rob Demoski tweeted out, no surprise, but all Packers coach Matt LaFleur would say about Jordan Love is he was LIMITED, limited. He wouldn't commit to Love for sure practicing tomorrow, but said if he did, he would be limited. All right. So they actually went in and said, you know what, let's prod Tom Clements a little bit. Packers quarterback coach Tom Clements on how Jordan Love has looked in practice this week. He looks limited. Here. And then, of course, we had our boy offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich at the podium on how they'll know if Jordan Love is ready to go on Sunday. It's all right, you know, Tom Clements ain't giving us nothing. LaFleur ain't giving us nothing. Let's ask this a different way. Adam, Coach Stenavich, how do you know if Jordan Love is going to be ready on Sunday? And Adam Stenavich says, quote, I think he'll tell us. So, I love it, dude. I love the snarkiness. I love that they're trying to keep it close to the vest. So, obviously, Jordan was back at practice today in a limited fashion, right? So, let's see. I think it was
Speaking of limited, there's Dennis Shook.
Already taking stray. So, Tom Silverstein actually tweeted out, Jordan Love is wearing some kind of device on the outside of his left knee. All right. Certainly not like the big old clunky braces they used to wear for MCLs. Didn't seem to be affecting him. So as you see in this clip, we're going to loop for a second here. It seems to be a smaller device than you would imagine like the offensive lineman wore. And you guys tell me, man, does it look like he's limited at all? Because to me, it doesn't. Now, that's not Jordan Love. That's Sean Clifford. Jordan Love's got a little bit better tan than that, all right? So that's a different guy there. But right here, look at Jordan. Obviously, he's wearing the sleeves, kind of covering that up, holding it in place too. But to me, he looks decent. You know what I'm saying?
Looks like a guy that's going to play football in Tennessee on Sunday. That's what he looks like to me.
Trending that way, Tim. I'm telling you, man. I think, and I'm trying not to kind of go all in on it, but it seems like every day we check another box. Somebody said he wasn't in pads yesterday. I thought he was in shells yesterday. Is that, you guys remember?
I don't think he was in pads yesterday. One thing that caught my eye though, Clayton, I saw that you had reposted this and you made the caption or something like you had like the question face, kind of like, what does this even mean, sort of thing. And I thought, well, what does it mean? He's wearing a brace. And then I look closer. I'm like, no, he's not wearing a brace. And it said a device.
Right.
So he's got like, what kind of new witchery stuff is going on here? They got Elon Musk, like some weird, like sensory thing going on. Like, because you look at his leg right there, I don't see no bulking brace. I don't see anything like that.
And the way I grew up, man, when you heard device, that was usually around the ankle. You know what I'm saying? One of those bracelets is what
That's
right. Yeah, it had like the aluminum hinges and like screws and pins.
I was actually talking about
spray WD-40 in it so it wouldn't squeak, you know? Yeah.
I was actually talking about the ankle bracelet just to make sure.
I was going to say all my stepdads had them ankle bracelets.
Yeah. You gotta make sure, you know, when Dad wanted to make it to your 6th birthday party, you had to have that bracelet on, is all I remember. You know what I'm saying? So Wes Hockowitz tweeted out another positive sign for Jordan Love, who's practicing in pads on Thursday. So there you go. Wide receiver Jaden Reed with the calf injury, guard Elton Jenkins with the illness/glute, returned after sitting out Wednesday. Tucker Kraft's shoulder is practicing, but wearing a red non-contact jersey, so they're playing it safe there. So here's some more clips. It's gonna be hard to. There we go. So now you see in Jordan doing the little high knee look here, right? To me, he looks fine. He really does. And now you see it right there. You can get a better view. You see that, boys? Let me see if I can go full screen on that.
Well, yeah.
Like I said, it looks like what Rashawn had on his leg at training camp last year, coming off the massive ACL. It's like a hybrid between a brace and a sleeve or something. You know. Every 5 minutes something changes in athletic training and they come up with something new, a new treatment, a new device, a new therapy. But he looks good. He looks like a guy that's not hurt at all right now. But again, this is limited practice, a little bit of rollout, throw on the run kind of thing. Let's see what he looks like full speed running reps with the ones, hopefully tomorrow. I would think if he's not limited on the report going into this game that you know, he's probably going to play.
Yeah, and I think too, I think it would be a wasted opportunity if they didn't wait till the last second, right, to make the move. So I would imagine the final one will probably be like questionable. You know what I'm saying? Like 50-50. I don't think it would be doubtful. Now, it could be he's out, right? We all kind of know that's probably the more common approach to kind of dissecting this, but if I was LaFleur, I would really, Tim, I would try to sell it like, hey, we don't know, man, he's questionable, and then bang, Sunday, 90 minutes before the game.
Well, then we got to get these guys on the sideline to stop tweeting these videos. Then
I was gonna say, because hey, I
respect pretty good here.
I think you guys know that probably one of our most respected, whatever you want to call y'all, the posse members, the listeners, audience people, is Coach Len, and he says he still looks ginger on that left leg to me.
Oh, okay.
And Jay went in and said, I also see that too, Coach. Do you guys see that as well? I mean, you know what, I can definitely see there is definitely a brace there. I think it's probably, you know, we got this newfangled, like legit, like, what is it? Like lightweight carbon fiber stuff where it's not the big bulky, you know, metal brace that we remember of watching the 1980s kind of stuff where it's quite clear you're wearing a brace. That looks like some sort of maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Almost like a sleeve mixed with a,
yeah.
Do you see him gingerly there? I personally,
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know what?
I don't know.
A lot of times you put a device like that on just to remind yourself that you do have an injury or that you are working past something, because he looks mobile as hell, right? Like he looks like he's not favoring it. Again, we're not doctors, but just watching this on loop and seeing him kind of move around, he's not grabbing at anything. He's not.
Wait a minute, Tim. You didn't go to school? I went to doctor school.
No, I did not. I did not go to medicine school. But and if it looks like he's favoring it, or there might be a little limp or whatever, it's because he's got an MCL injury. Like we know this already. I think the sleeve is on there to remind Jordan to take it easy out there, because if he was running, free, there's a chance he maybe tweaks something. So I don't know, maybe it's more precautionary than anything at this point.
Yeah.
The other thing too, and this sounds silly, but as a playing baseball pretty much my whole life, as a right-hander, you slide on that left leg, and man, you slide on the outside of that left leg with whatever he's got on there. That's going to hurt a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's padded on the inside and everything, but that is something that pops up. As far as him looking ginger, like Coach Lynn's saying here, it's one of those things. It's like the longer you look at it, maybe you start to trick yourself into seeing it. I didn't see it initially, but I can kind of see what he's saying too. Obviously he's not running full speed and going. Here we are. We said we weren't going to do this, and we're breaking it down.
I know. I'm sorry. And he goes on to say these drills are essentially walkthroughs. I want to see him at full speed.
Yes,
which I would argue that the best thing to gain from him working out like he is today is that yesterday he did basically a very, I wouldn't say intense, but he did seemingly a normal workout, and they didn't feel the need to sit him today. Does that make sense? Like if something was bad, if something was inflation wise,
Yeah, no doubt. They would have set him down immediately. For sure.
Dennis Shook in the chat says he wears a precautionary sleeve sometimes himself. So
just the tip.
Unbelievable. All right. So yeah, like how I'm always reacting like, God, y'all are so immature, and I'm the one hitting these sound drops. That's what's beautiful is they don't know it's me half the time doing it. Tim just gets the blame for it all.
Yeah.
It's Kicker Talk next. No, it ain't, Greg. We're moving on, sir.
$10 super chats for Kicker Talk. Get them in now.
I would rather y'all keep your money, to be honest with you. Talking Kicker. Jacob, you got a few marked there. Let's hit them, man, if you haven't already.
Well, all right. I will say one thing though about kickers is I saw some poll. I can't remember forgive me. It was a friend of the show. I believe they did a poll to see what would Narvidson's name should be, and they had a couple good ones. And I posted underneath. I went, I can't believe we haven't talked that he's the Narv dog. Yeah. And like he quoted back and he goes, "Oh, you're right. That's what his default name is until we find out." Anyways. Greg Rice is saying, I can't disagree with this. The Packers need to make a change in their linebacker room by Luke Sims, September 19th. I'm assuming he's quoting an article. Is that what he's doing there? I don't think I highlighted that one. Did you, Tim?
I did. I actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen the article, but I thought that was interesting that if Luke Sims, and again, I'm sure he's quoting it right out of the article there. The Packers need to make a change in their linebacker room. I mean,
would that be referring to Quay, I'm assuming?
I think it's referring to pretty much everything there. Like, you've got to try to get the hot hands on the field type thing. Like, to me, it was week one. You guys remember I was on here like a doofus going, Adrian Cooper needs more snaps, man. He's earned them. And then, of course, Eric Wilson gets the interception. Now I'm going, Eric Wilson needs more snaps. He's earned them. So it's like every week, right? The reality is Coach Hafley, he sees these guys more than anyone, so he knows who gives you the best shot. The reason I think Quay will not come off the field this year, and I agree with the move, is because the most important aspect to playing Mike Backer, and some people have got it kind of mixed up and everything. You hear some people speak about the Will, the Mike, and the Sam as if it's 1990s football, and that's just not the case. The Mike needs to be that pass cover linebacker. Again, they're very interchangeable. But when we're in the nickel set, it's all right. Like last week, we fired Quay a couple times on a blitz, right? In that specific situation, you got the other backer dropping into coverage. He's kind of playing more of the mock, and the other guy's playing the wheel run. That may have been a mock blitz, but again, the mock is designed to cover the tight end, and even in some cases, cover a wide receiver in the slot if they try to get cute while you're in zone defense and corners aren't actually following guys. And we'll get into a little bit of D coordinator talk here in a minute with Jeff Hafley. He had some absolute gems today. But, yeah, I mean, I can't say I disagree with it either. But for me, your best cover linebacker is Quay Walker. He needs to be at the mock. McDuffie is not a better cover linebacker than Quay. Eric Wilson made a hell of a play on that ball, but, again, he played 7-8 snaps, right? And he was playing it from the Sam position, if I remember. It was either Sam or Will. He was an outside linebacker. And he just kind of dropped. Hafley talks about that, I believe, in the presser too. But hopefully that answered the question. I don't know. I just think they need to get Edgerrin Cooper and Eric Wilson more looks personally. But then again, I think it was a third down play where McDuffie screamed down on the flat and made a tackle and a stop to bring up fourth down. Like he didn't play horrible either. I understand what you're seeing though with Quay in the run fits. It's tough at times. It really is. But that's the negative aspect of his game, you know. So
But the rise to the top.
Real quick, just to hammer down that point there. Of course, I just unstarted. I believe it was somebody was asking about or mentioned the fact that Quay was mentioned by Hafley, where he basically put a lot of praise on him today in that interview. We might have a clip there. I don't know if you got that coming up here, but we'll get into that, I'm sure, and show that I think Hafley, like you just reiterated, kind of thinks that he is going to be on this starting lineup for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a tall linebacker with damn near world-class speed for the linebacker position, that's everything you need, especially if you're going to play Tampa 2 and some of these matchy principles, which I think it's hilarious. We're playing some of the same defense we played last year under Barry. I tried to say it all offseason, there's only so many defensive looks and defensive play calls, and people pretend like you bring in a new DC and everything's going to change. It just really doesn't happen like that. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah. No, the Too Old for This must have made this comment while we were talking about the Office thing, which is one of my favorite, is when Michael Scott is standing in, I think it's Times Square, and he's looking behind. He goes, "I'm going to go get me a New York slice, authentic New York slice." And he goes to Sbarro. And I just –
So is it Sbarro or is it Sbarro?
Oh, it's Sbarro, dude.
Sbarro? Okay.
And it is good. I used to get that all the time. There was one off Broadway in Nashville. It's disgustingly cheap and really good.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Jesus. Too Old for This says, "Why do fans want Love to sit even if he's cleared to play? They won't let him play if he's not good to go. Some non-existent Malik Willis revenge game?"
I think I may have started that actually. But no, this is the thing. And Justin from Packernet Graphics was hitting me up earlier today. You all right, Jake? Good, bud?
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Cat knocked over all the stuff.
Always blame the cat. That remind me of Biodome. Let the cat take the rat when he was crying. Anyway, that's an old movie. So
Good movie.
The thing that got me and me and Justin were talking about this earlier. There's like several podcasters that are like so hell bent on he's not going to play, guys. Stop talking about it. It's like, why are you so upset that fans want Jordan to play? And it's like you're not allowed to disagree with certain people, and they just seem so irked, and they seem so, I don't know, it just bothers me. I don't understand that. I don't. Like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And the thing, like I told Justin, God forbid he starts, you won't hear them talk about it. They won't revisit that they gave people hell early in the week that, hey, Jordan might play. They'll just go completely hush about it. So I don't understand that either, though, too. Go ahead, Jake.
All right, we'll go back to this. And if my stream cuts out, guys, I got like orange skies and tornado stuff going on right now, so I apologize if that happens. Greg Rice says, "Is there a baby crying or is that Atham?"
Hey.
Oof, just Atham's taking shots. I didn't even see him in.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Ian comes in and says, "Love is playing this week. Teammates look at him practicing. Teammates look at him at practice looking this good. They will expect the leader to play." That's a yeah, I think that's maybe a fairer point there. And then Mr. Coach Len comes in again and says, "Quay has to stay at Mike. Cooper and Hopper are too light. McDuffie is too light also." What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I don't think they're too light. No, I don't. The way the game is right now, and again, I know passing's down currently, which is fairly normal for early in the year. And you guys heard
do away with the too high.
Oh, the great Mel Copper today. Absolutely. He walked up and just smacked the Hornets nest. It's like some of the comments that these professionals make, they've convinced themselves that fans don't know anything about football. Like they've convinced themselves that I'm superior. I know what I'm talking about. These little people, let me throw a hot take out there. Nobody will question it. He got raked over the damn coals, and rightfully so. It's just wild. And if you guys want to hear a good conversation, go listen to the McAfee show talk about it and hear Chuck Pagano, who spent his entire adult life in the game of football, talking on the defensive side of the ball. hear him talk about it, hear Michael Lombardi talk about it. It was absolutely hilarious, man. Yeah, and we actually just deleted that drop.
Oh no!
Who the hell is Mel Kiper? Anyway, in a way.
I know why.
Hold on. Adam's got it perfect. Anyway.
Perfect spelling right there, Adam. Congratulations, sir. Anything else in the comments, Jake? Are we good?
Yeah, actually, I just got another good one here by a couple of people. By Daryl Ezian. He says, with the addition of Cornelius Johnson, I don't think, have we talked about this guy at all? He brings great size, standing 6'3", weighing 213, I'm sure can block as well. I believe he was a 7th round draft pick from, I can't remember which team, but he possessed some tools where people were like, what is this signing? It's really stupid. I don't understand it. And it's like, well, really? We like strong, tall wide receivers that can block. That doesn't make sense to you?
Can block.
That to me makes all the sense in the world right now. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's like the running back we brought in, man. Hearing Ryan talk about him on his podcast today.
Is that Chris Jones?
Chris
Harris?
I don't know. We should know his name.
I thought it was Chris Jones. Or Chris Brooks. My bad. Chris Brooks.
Chris Brooks. That's it. I mean, that dude, he had a hell of a he had a hell of a preseason. He done really well with the Dolphins. He averaged over 6 yards a carry in college at BYU, I believe it was. And you hear LaFleur talk about him. He's a great one-cut runner. He's good in pass pro. He's got a good grab of the system. He's a great contributor on special teams. And here's the main thing is A.J. Dillon's out. Marshawn Lloyd's out. He's going to be running back 3. You're going to see him with carries this week, no doubt about it, especially if we get the run game going and got to give some of these guys these breathers because I think the latest weather report's saying 93 degrees. So it's going to be toasty. So, all right, let's dip into the injury report real quick. And just kind of give you guys an update. We were supposed to hit on the whole thing yesterday, but the Jordan Love talk got kind of out of hand. So here's the Packers injury report. Kenny Clark, Wednesday, limited with a toe. Thursday, limited with the toe. Kingsley Enagbare got a groin injury, limited on Wednesday. He was full participation today, so that's great news. Josh Jacobs with the back, he was limited Wednesday, limited today. All right. Elton Jenkins, illness/glute, did not participate on Wednesday. He was limited today. Tucker Kraft with the shoulder injury, limited both days. Jordan Love, obviously, limited both days if you haven't been keeping up. Jordan Morgan with the shoulder injury did not participate both days. So he is not on the IR, to the best of my knowledge, right? So they have not made that move. So it shouldn't be nothing too long-term, but he has not practiced all week. Josh Myers, ankle, limited both days. Jaden Reed, and some people were freaking out over this because he didn't participate Wednesday. Tim, this is what we seen last week with this calf injury, man. And they just kind of played it smart. Obviously, he came out and played on Sunday. He was fine, but he was limited today. Am I remembering that right? Wasn't it last week, Tim, that he had the same injury? And it's like almost like some people were treating it like, oh, my God, when did this happen? It's like, bro, this happened last week, and he played.
Yeah, it was a calf and a shin. They were saying so lower leg. I'm assuming he's dealing with a pull or something, strained calf, something like that. But I mean, he looked good last Sunday. So hopefully that's like you said, we're just doing this again, keeping him limited throughout the week. I mean, Bird's the man. The whole goal is to have him as close to 100% for game day as possible, and then throw him out there and cut him loose. So I fully expect him to play this weekend.
I agree. Zach Tom with the quadricep, limited both days. Carrington Valentine with the ankle injury, did not participate Wednesday, did not participate today. So looking like he'll probably be out this week would be my guess. Rasheed Walker with the shoulder injury, limited both days. That one worries me a little bit. Hopefully that's nothing crazy serious. I'm glad that they're keeping him limited and make sure that you get your starting left tackle out there because, again, he's not the best run blocker. I know he's had his share of penalties. But this dude is a legit top 5 pass blocking tackle. He is unbelievable at pass blocking. So on the Titans side, you've got is that Luke Gifford? Am I seeing that right? It's kind of small there. That's what she said. Back injury, not listed on Wednesday, did not participate on Thursday. Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, NIR rest, did not participate Wednesday. He was back today, obviously, with that vet rest. Same thing with L'Jarius Sneed, their great press corner, did not participate Wednesday. He did participate today. And then Tajay Spears, their backup running back with an ankle injury, did not participate on Wednesday. He was limited today. So that would be nice. Don't wish injury on anyone. We always say that. But look, if Tajay, ankles not to mess with, dude. Sit this one out, man. Get yourself healthy, dude. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself healthy. So anything you guys want to add to the injury report there?
Tim, I mean, to me, that Rasheed Walker one's the most scary. And that's unfortunately, we've been really blessed, I would say, obviously with the exception of Jordan Love, but the injuries, it just doesn't feel like we've been very much affected by it, which I know that sounds crazy again with our starting quarterback being out. But other than that, I mean, we've been kind of pretty blessed, I'd say, up to this point with not losing anybody for long term. I mean, obviously AJ Dillon has his spell there, and I never wanted that. Nobody wanted that, but pretty much as a whole, as an offense, as a defense, as a whole team right now, we're looking pretty good. But when you look at that laundry list of guys right there, that's a lot of people. I would want Rasheed Walker to be healthiest out of that group, to be honest, just because I want that guy protecting Jordan if he's coming back, obviously, if Jordan's the one that's going to be starting. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I look at Kingsley and Igbare, and I see him limited, yesterday, and now he's full participant today. Those are the kind of things you want to see trending upward. You don't want it the other way around. You don't want to see a guy that was limited and then did not practice. Or
what did you think about Tucker Kraft in the red jersey today? Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Clearly, they want him to go, right? So
right.
With the shoulder deal, is the red jersey's probably like, keep your hands off him, handle them with kid gloves. We don't want a setback. Which leads more credence to what we were talking about, which is, if these guys are cleared and they're healthy enough, they're cleared by the trainers and the doctors, then we're going to start them. And that goes from Jordan Love all the way down. You look at a guy like Josh Jacobs, he's been dealing with this back issue, I believe, since his time in Vegas. So this is not like something new. This is just a workload management kind of thing. I'm assuming he'll be limited again tomorrow, or maybe a full participant, who knows? But I think the bulk of these guys on this report, they're going to play. Obviously, Rasheed Walker is a big concern. I look at CV too, Carrington Valentine with that ankle injury, not looking too good for him. Same thing with, Jordan Morgan. Clearly, we're going to see the Sean Ryan show again on Sunday. And with Jordan Morgan not going to IR, that doesn't mean he's a shoe-in to play right away, but clearly they didn't want to commit to having him sit long-term. So hopefully he can work back from that shoulder. But all we're looking at here on these lists is for guys not to regress. Right. As long as you're seeing them stay the same or you're seeing progression, then we're good to go for this weekend, I think. I think most of these guys are going to play with the exception of a couple.
Hey, Greg Rice has a great point here, guys. How many hammies are on this list? Right. I'll tell you what, big old zero.
Yeah, it was weird, man. Like the hammies kind of got fixed, and all of a sudden pecs started popping off the bottom. It was strange, wasn't it? And I think they did tone back maybe the bench press just a touch. So both of those injuries, both of those pecs, actually all three of them, including Coach LaFleur, came on the bench press, they said. So very interesting. Let's see. Bernie in the chat says Kraft blocking showed out on the All-22. You ain't lying, Bernie. That dude, I love that guy, man. I really awesome. Do. There's so many people that compare him, and many people they remember the golden years of the 1990s with Mark Chmura and Brett Favre and everyone, and many people compare him to Chmura, kind of that type of tight end. I love it. I'll take it, man. I thought Mark Chmura was one hell of a tight end back then. Obviously a different game, but the thing about Tucker Kraft, man, what you want out of a tight end is you want a guy like we talked about who they can pass block a 7-tech, they can run block a 9, and they've got great spatial awareness, right? That's the big thing. And really what Tucker Kraft brings to the table is he's got great hands, and he's always getting yak. There's never a situation where it's like he's falling down or he doesn't have good balance. He's well planted, I guess is the best way to say it, man. He's one of my favorite Packers right now. I love that dude. Absolutely awesome. So we were kind of talking about Rasheed Walker and how important it is for him to play because of the pass blocking, and that's definitely been the Packers' strength so far on the offensive line. This was pretty cool. 33rd team tweeted out how every offensive line fared in pass protection in week 2, all right? And this is how it goes. Number 1, Chargers. Number 2, and again, this is listed by average week 2 rank in pressure plus sack rates. Okay, so this is pressure plus sacks. Chargers 1, Colts 2, Ravens 3, Giants 4. That was really interesting because the Giants have been cheeks in pass blocking in the recent years here. Dolphins 5, Lions 6, Jets 7, Cardinals 8, Panthers 9, and the Green Bay Packers come in at the number 10 spot. All right, now keep this in mind. Notice the star. That's 0 sacks allowed, right? Wow. Detroit Lions has allowed 0 sacks. The Green Bay Packers have allowed 0 sacks, and the Buffalo Bills have allowed 0 sacks. So there's only 3 teams in the NFL that hasn't allowed a sack yet, and Green Bay is one of those. So Rasheed Walker, big part of that statistic there. So hopefully he's good to go there on Sunday. The other thing I'll point out here too, and I want to get your all's take on this. Look who's number 32, guys. Notice who's 32 down there?
Yeah, look who Respect Orange says also. Look who's at 31. So we can just take a minute and make fun of 31 and 32. And for that sake, look who's at 29. San Fran, bro.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Wait, who's at 31? What does that say?
Roar.
The Bears still suck.
There you go. And the Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee Titans are dead last in the league in week 2. Now, keep in mind they played the Jets, really good defense, historically been a good defense here since Saleh went to New York. So,
bro, let's blitz all damn day on Sunday.
Let's go, dude.
Let's just go. And
the way I'm looking at it too, no, Prince, don't you start this. The way I look at this is like you could probably get pressure with 4, Tim. You probably can.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But can you imagine seeing Will Levis look at firing that linebacker or nickel blitz or something out of the blue? I'd love it.
Yeah, cue up the circus music, right? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let's see. Since we're
wasn't it real quick before we move on? Is it Nicholas Petit-Fier? Is that the right tackle that will be tasked with guarding Mr. Rashawn Gary? I'm pretty sure that I sent you a screenshot of how many hurries or sacks or something like that. He's like 61 out of 61 as far as I remember, as far as offensive tackles is getting burned. So this guy is up for a freaking day. I'm just gonna say, if y'all have any sorts of bets you want to do, I would never tell you where to put your money. Never tell you. But Rashawn Gary over under on a sack. I'm running that to the bank, baby. Over.
You said he was 61st, is that right?
Yeah, that was the I saw it from
crazy, man. That's so close to
65%.
65%. That's what By the way, shout out.
Tell you.
I'm gonna break some news here for you guys. I love, like, we got so many, Bates and all the great listeners, Mr. Larry donating memorabilia to give out to PTA Posse members. We got just such a cool crew, right? This one is really, really interesting. Trevor Anderson, loyal listener, sent me an email. Said, Clayton, I won't be denied on this one because I think he's tried to donate stuff before. I'm like, man, keep that. Guys, I should pull up the email for you. He got 2 pictures of Mark Murphy autographed, all right? And he had him sign on it 65% on the
No, he didn't.
Yes. And he said, I got 2, one to give away and one for you to keep. So we're going to put that 65% picture here in the studio. It's going to be absolutely – I was thinking, man, you want to talk about mental toughness. You want to talk about awareness, Tim. When the game's on the line, think play or not play. Trevor's a damn player. He went in there and said, I know exactly what I'm trying to accomplish when I get this autograph from Mark Murphy. I wonder how Mark acted. I bet it was hilarious, dude.
I bet he was cool. I bet he was cooler than Polar Bear toenails.
Mark is unapologetically himself. And I think Mark Murphy has been – listen, I'm not saying he's Bob Harlan. We all know he's not Bob Harlan. But, my God, man, you step into the footsteps of Bob Harlan, you got a big shadow to fill right there. I think Mark Murphy's done one hell of a job. I do, man.
Yeah, and I think the legacy is going to continue with that policy too. I really do.
Yeah,
I believe we're just going to continue to go forward, and who better to lay that groundwork than Mark Murphy, because he's been incredible. And you talk about a GM that is fully accessible to his players, to the staff, to the fans, shareholders, city of Green Bay. He's an ambassador for Green Bay Packer football, and when he ultimately retires and hangs it up, he will be missed. But I feel like the future's in good hands with Ed Policy, and a lot of that is due to the foundation that Mark Murphy has built here going forward.
Tim, do you think it's fair to say that Mark Murphy single-handedly was one of the only people that could ever grow a small market like Green Bay and the way they did with the title town, with the expansions, with the unbelievable hotels, the restaurants, the events there, but still keeping that that small town feel as he does it, and the integrity of the team while he's doing that? I would
agree with that 100%. I think he was integral in that process. And, one thing that's constant is change, right? I'm a person who hates change. I'm old school, but things are gonna progress. They're gonna change. That's what happens. You evolve. But Mark Murphy has certainly balanced the scales between, expansion and change, and also staying true to that old school mentality that makes Titletown what it is. We were Titletown well before we had this development and, all the fancy stuff we have now. It took a guy like Mark Murphy to really make that come into fruition and to do it right. We've seen, change. I'm a big believer that change is only good if it's for the better. And, clearly the changes that we've made here at 1265 and the surrounding area have been for the better. And, we owe a great debt of gratitude to Mark Murphy, because I feel like, he's mastered that art of, keeping your eyes forward while respecting your past and your history and never forgetting where you come from, so to speak. So, kudos to Mark Murphy for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Bernie with the super chat. Thank you so much, Bernie. He says, hope Will Levis is still in the gift giving mode Sunday. Amen to that, bro. Amen to that. And here's the thing. His coach really, I don't know if you guys seen the clip, but his coach ate his lunch on national television, right?
Yeah,
and
it was pretty bad.
And he literally says, "What the F are you doing?" And then he goes into the presser and doubles down. They go, what was it you said to Will on the sideline? He said, I think it's pretty obvious what I said to Will on the sideline. Like, he's got to protect the football. So you've lost some confidence there, obviously. You being the head coach, you've lost confidence in your starting quarterback. I'm going to tell you something else, man. Those other guys in that locker room, they're busting their ass. They're out there in that Nashville heat, and they're doing everything they can to win a ball game. And then you got one player who keeps making the same mistakes over and over and over, and not doing it in a way like I'm going to take one for the team here. There's no I'm going to live to play another down here. It's almost as if like nothing else matters around me. I'm just going to go out and do what I want to do. Forget what the game plan is type thing. I'm not saying he's not running the plays called. I'm simply saying situational awareness and just not accepting the fact that you got to live to play another down. I guarantee you that locker room is a little fractured. And the other thing too, man, like you said, Jacob, and I'm not going to dog on Titan fans too much. I've got family members who are Titans fans, and they're loyal Titan fans. They'll go to games regardless. But man, there's not many Titan fans that are like them. We're going to be going down to the game, and we're sitting in some nice seats, and we got an indoor area that we got, if we need access to it. And we're going to be going to a big tailgate party with a bunch of landscaping companies. We're going to be up there with what we refer to as the upper crust, right? And I'm telling you, those people, they don't care about football. This is just an event. This is
a social gathering more than anything.
Absolutely. And there's hardcore fans out there. There's no doubt about it. I see the Titans flags down here when they're a horrible team. But I'm telling you, man, that fan base has got to be going, what are we doing? Like, we ran we ran Mike Vrabel off for this dumpster fire. Like, you go 0-3, there's pressure on that team this week. There's no
and if anything, that should put us on notice going on the road to play this team. You talk about Will Levis. I heard Mike Wall on the air today, talking about him being a young kid with he's got no memory. He's got no conscience out there. So he's making mistakes, and it's like I guarantee you Will Levis isn't letting that stuff eat him up. If anything, he's going to go out there and try and win the game with every throw again. So that could play to our advantage, or it could play to our disadvantage for us too. If we take this for granted and think, this rookie's going to give us, a ton of picks and he's going to make mistakes, we have to make him make those mistakes, because you look at a player like that. I mean, if you look at, probability or whatever, I mean, chances are he's going to have a game here one of these days. Let's just hope it's not against us this weekend. So I think we need to treat this game like any other game and, not take it for granted with this matchup and just put together a good game plan and get after that quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. Greg Rice says, is Levis a scrambler? He can scramble. And when he scrambles, he kind of runs with power. Like he's one of those quarterbacks that he'll lower his shoulder. He ain't scared. And he's a very physical dude. He's in peak condition as far as the physicality, the beating you take as a quarterback. He can absorb that. He can.
Let's see how much shoulder lowering happens when he meets Javon Bullard this weekend.
He did it against the Jets on Sunday, and there was a couple of times I was going, damn, Will, you might want to slide there. He took some clicks. But that's just how he plays. And again, if it's Brett Favre, like Brett always said, as long as I throw more touchdowns and interceptions, they'll still let me play, right? Will Levis doesn't have the pelts on the wall yet, so he's going to get run out of town if he keeps it up. This was his pass chart. I think this was from this week against the Jets. He was 19 of 28 for 192 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You see the interception was deep along the left side of the field there, kind of the left third, I guess you could say. But you notice his pass chart, the majority of his throws in week 2 against the Jets were on the right side of the field, and they were under 20 yards. He only threw 3 passes over 20 yards. So to answer your question, whoever asked that, he can scramble, but he is more of a pocket passer. He's kind of trying to think of who to compare him to, because he does try to create space to make the throw rather than just scramble.
Chad Pennington.
I wouldn't say that. Chad Pennington was accurate, and he had a noodle arm. Will Levis is inaccurate. He's got a cannon. So now they
Taysom Hill, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I could see a little bit of that. He's just again, we haven't seen him with he's been in 2 systems now, right? And it kind of goes with Malik Willis. Like when you put these quarterbacks out there, you go, okay, you're our starter, and then you run the whole coaching staff off, and then you bring in a new system. Now you got to give yourself a year or 2 to learn that system. That doesn't negate the mistakes, though.
Right.
Yeah, he's like I said, his strengths are he's got great arm strength. He's got a quick release. He's fairly accurate, but he's just always trying to throw off platform, and his mechanics are so all to hell that's where his accuracy goes down to 2. So
isn't one of his main weaknesses that he lost his job to Sean Red Dog Clifford up in Penn State and had to actually tuck tail and run down to Kentucky?
He went down to Kentucky, and if I remember correctly, the first year it was exciting. We were like, heck yeah, man, Will's a good football player. The second year, they changed the offense. So think about that. He's played for 4 different offensive schemes now, including college. You know what I mean? So he's been changed up a lot. And you could just tell, Jacob, that in Kentucky his last year, they were trying to protect him. They knew he was going to be a first-round pick. And it was like they stopped with the design quarterback runs and all that and tried to kind of prop him up and it really hurt Kentucky's year that year. And when you're a Kentucky fan like me, they don't need any help hurting their results, okay? They do a good enough job of that without watering down the system. So, no, I can say that. I've witnessed it for 42 freaking years.
Hey, do you think – actually, everybody in the chat, I think that actually being a Kentucky fan in that league or in that conference and comparing that to being a Badger fan in the big – whatever the freaking now we call it, Big 12, Big 14, but it's the Big 10, that's pretty similar. We're almost there, and there's about 3 or 4 games where you just every year will make you want to just dig a hole, lay there, have somebody cover you up in it. You know what I mean?
I remember the LSU game. They had LSU beat at Commonwealth Stadium in Lexington, and they throw a last-second Hail Mary to win the game. LSU does, and I'm telling you, there's 2 things I noticed when they converted on that Hail Mary. I was sitting there like. And the first thing I see is some idiot fan jump on the field with a 3-piece suit. I'm like, why are you wearing a suit to a Kentucky game? They're running on the field celebrating while LSU just won the game because they don't realize he caught the Hail Mary. I'm going, you knuckleheads. My phone rings. It's my brother. God rest his soul. I answered and I went, yeah, he went. This is what he said. He goes, welcome to Kentucky football. I'll never forget it. So that being said, that's the end of hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour 2. Appreciate y'all.